Hello and welcome to another video for Midas Touch Toys, Games, Collectibles. And today, well, we're looking at something that's now quite old. It has become very collectible and is becoming increasingly more difficult to find, especially in this near mint condition. We are looking at the 1977 release by World Distributors from their Doctor Who series of annuals. And this particular one we're looking at today is of the Doctor Who annual from 1978, which starred Tom Baker as the Doctor at the time. And as you know, Doctor Who is a very highly popular BBC television series, which started in 1963, and the classic series ran right up to 1989, when there were 7 Doctors that played the part. The first Doctor was William Hartnell, the second Doctor was Patrick Troughton, the third Doctor was John Pertwee, the fourth Doctor was Tom Baker, the fifth Doctor was Peter Davison, the sixth Doctor was Colin Baker, and the seventh Doctor was Sylvester McCoy. But we're looking at the fourth Doctor here. Now, the fourth Doctor's era ran from 1974 right through to 1981. His debut story was a story called Robot, and his final story was called Logopolis. His tenure ran from 28th of December 1974 to the 21st of March 1981. He was the Doctor for 7 seasons, which completed 41 stories and 172 episodes. During his time as a Doctor, he had quite a few companions. His first companion was Sarah Jane Smith. He also had Harry Sullivan, not to mention the unit crews. There was a Brigadier and Sergeant Benton. Leela also, K9 of course, Romana 1 and Romana 2, and finally Adric, Nissa and Tegan Javanka. So season 12 was 74 to 75, season 13 75 to 76, season 14 76 to 77, season 15 was 77 to 78, season 16 78 79, season 17 was 79 to 1980, season 18 1980 to 1981, and season 20 he made a brief appearance in the 5 Doctors, although it was part of the unused episode Sharda. Okay, let's not progress any further. This is the annual in front of us, and this is the front of the annual. It says the Doctor Who annual 1978, starring Tom Baker as Doctor Who, and at the bottom it says authorised edition as seen on BBC TV, and you can see there's an artwork image there of Tom Baker's face and him running across his hair. There's a unit helicopter at the top and a TARDIS at the bottom. Okay, that's the front cover. Let's just spin it round to the back. What have we got on the back? Yeah, again, we've got a couple of artwork images here. So we've got an image of the Doctor and Leela. SBN number at the top, which is 7235042121. And it says the Doctor Who Annual 1978. Let's just have a quick look at the spline, which is in immaculate condition. And it says the Doctor Who Annual 1978, World Distributors. Okay, that is the front and back covers. Let's open it up and let's have a look at the contents. Okay, so I've opened the annual. I just want to point out that these pages are quite stiff still, because this book was a part of a shop buyout that we found. There was a company that had been around since the 1960s, and they decided to retire in 2021, and we were fortunate enough to go in and buy all their stock. Now, one of the owners of the shop was an avid Doctor Who fan, and each year when the annuals have been coming in, he would keep an annual and pop it into the stock room and keep it for himself. Although he never did anything for them, he just put them in a box and kept them for himself. So they never actually went onto the shelf and never actually was sold. And when we bought the stock out, there was a whole complete box of annuals of Doctor Who. There was Man from U.N.C.L.E., there was Starsky and Hutch, there was Blake 7. There was loads and loads of different annuals that he enjoyed, and he would keep an annual for himself. Although, as I said, he never took them home or never read them or anything. They were just in the back. And part of the stock that we bought out was that big box full of annuals, and this particular one we're looking at today was one of those. So the pages are a little bit stiff, so I'm going to have to perhaps hold the pages as we go along, but let's have a look. So this is inside the front cover, and you can see some artwork images there of Tom Baker, and I believe that's supposed to be Leela here. So it says Doctor Who Annual 1978. Contents, stories: The Sleeping Beast, The Sands of Timus, A New Life, and The Sea of Faces. Picture stories: The Rival Robots and The Traitor. Features: Loony Laughs, Mythical Monsters, Apollo Manned Mission Emblems, If, and Race Against Time. Celestial Squares, Mystery Message, Space Names, The Life Crystal, Merry Dancers of the Skies, Science Lends a Hand, Doctor Who Alphabet, Arithmental Integration, Observing the Stars, Problems, Peaceful Solution, Space Word, True or False, Orbiting Telescope, It's in the Stars, Spot the Difference, and Escape from the Green Volcano. And it's copyright 1977 by British Broadcasting Company. All rights reserved throughout the world. Published in Great Britain by World Distributors, Manchester Limited. A member of the Pentas Group. And the address and details are all there. This is printed in Great Britain by Gerald and Sons Limited, Norwich. And again, you've got the SBN number. And the bottom right-hand corner, you've got the cover price of the annual, which is £1.35 back in 1977. Okay, let's flip the page over. And we've got the first story, which is The Sleeping Beast. And you can see it's a full story with colour illustrations. Great artwork. And that's 2, 4, 5 pages. And then we got on the Loony Laughs, which is a comical page. And then we come on to the Mythical Monsters. And this is all monsters that have appeared in myths throughout time. Apollo Manned Mission Emblems. That's all the emblems from the Apollo missions from NASA. And you've got If. It's pretty hard to imagine planets as being the size of fruits, vegetables and other everyday objects. But if the sun was a beach ball, 12 inches in diameter, the planets in our solar system could be repressed like this. Mercury as a grain of mustard seed, 164 feet away. Venus as a pea, 284 feet away. Earth as a pea, 430 feet away. The Moon as a grain of mustard seed, 13 feet from Earth. Mars as a current, 654 feet away. Jupiter as an orange, half a mile away. Saturn as a tangerine, 4/5 of a mile away. Neptune as a plum, 2.5 miles away. Uranus as a plum, just over a mile away. And Pluto as a pinhead in a varied orbit about 3 miles away. There we go. That gives you the idea of the size of the planets. A Race Against Time, which is the Doctor Who game that comes in this particular annual. This is on his arrival on the planet Doom. Doctor Who was captured by the fierce inhabitants and taken to their walled city. Although he has managed to escape from the cell, he still has to cross the hostile wilderness that lies between himself and the TARDIS. To join him on his perilous journey, you will need a dice and some colour counters or buttons, one for each player. Throw a 6 to start, and if you land on a red square, follow the instructions on it. If you land on a blue square, below the direction, follow the direction of the arrow. The first one to reach the TARDIS is the winner, and you must throw the exact number to finish. There we go. Okie dokie. Next story is The Sands of Timus, and that is a full story with illustrations. First ones are colour, the rest of them are black and white. Nice artwork. Celestial Squares, which is a quiz, and you need to fill in the answer. And then we come on to the first comic strip story, which says it's called The Rival Robots, and it's a monocolour story. So there's some good artwork in there. That's 6 pages. Mystery Message, and that's the message you have to try and figure out. It says, Doctor, you are in danger here. But the first line says, Doctor, you're in danger here. Space names. Everything and everybody has a name. Even people and objects in space do you know. By what better name is a Russian fellow traveller known? No idea. Answers on page 60. A New Life, which is another story. A full story with black and white illustrations. And that runs for 5 pages. The Live Crystal, which again is another story. No, it's not. It's a... Yeah, it's a very, very, very... It's a... No, it's not. It's a quiz. So you've got to figure that out yourselves. Merry Dancers of the Skies. And that's the lights in the sky at night. Science Lends a Hand. And then we've got the Doctor Who alphabet. A is for astronauts, B is for Bailey's bead, C is for cactus, D is for dancing dervishes, and so on. And arithmetic integration. That's some kind of number game, I think. Observing the stars. Problems. Again, puzzles to solve. Peaceful solution. And then you got the answers to some of the questions there. And it's the next comic strip is called The Traitor, and that's a full colour comic strip. And that runs for 5-6 pages. Then we got Space Crossword. Quite simple, really. The Ring Planet, Home of the Little Green Men. 7 and 12, How We Measure Distance in Space. So pretty much basic answers. But the answer on page 60 if you don't know anyway. True or false questions. Orbiting telescope, all about one of the powerful telescopes. It's in the stars. And then we've got spot the difference. Can you spot the differences? There's one straight away there, which is not on there. Just seen that by just having... Oh, yeah, and there's shadow on the background there. It's not there. So, and you got the second Doctor there and the Master in that one. So, there you go. There's 3 straight away. Sea of Faces, again, which is another story. It looks like it's got black and white illustrations. 2, 4, 6 pages on 8 pages. It's continuing. And that brings us to the end, I think. Yep. And then we're into the last page. It says Escape from the Green Volcano, which is another game, basically. So you've got to start there and you've got to get out somewhere along the line. So I'm guessing you can exit at any point, but I'm not sure. I'm not going to read the instructions. It's for you, should you wish to have one of the books. Okay, that is the annual. How well did these annuals do, I hear you ask? Well, what can I say? I mean, back in the 1970s, annuals were huge. They were a very, very big thing. Staple diet for pretty much everybody. On Christmas morning, you will find, usually open up your Christmas sacks or stockings and find several annuals in your stockings if you were fortunate. And we were very fortunate that we used to find annuals in our Christmas sacks every Christmas morning. Quite a few in actual fact, and that was probably one of the highlights of our Christmas, actually, the annuals, all based on our favourite television series or pop stars or even football teams. So there was annuals were, to get to the point, annuals were very, very big. From the 50s, 60s, 70s and 80s, they were massive. You could get annuals for pretty much every popular television series, every popular football team, every popular pop star. There were annuals available for any of them. So it was a very, very big thing, and these annuals were produced in mass numbers back in the day. I mean, remember, there was no such things as video recorders or live streaming. Internet didn't exist. DVD players didn't exist. So the only way to see your TV programs was on broadcast, and if you missed it, well, then you had to wait for the reruns. And the reruns, sometimes they come within the same year, sometimes they didn't come for years. So you could see your program soon, or you may have to wait years to see it. And sometimes they would never rerun. So to keep the program alive and keep it in your mind, things like well, a lot of merchandise was released. So in the 70s, you had a lot of activity books, annuals, colouring books, those kind of things, which kept the TV program in your fresh in your mind, especially when it wasn't on air. So it kept the popularity there for when the series came back. But also there was merchandise, there was toys produced. So for Doctor Who, there was the Dennis Fisher range, where they had the TARDIS, the Leela, the Cyberman, the Dalek, and the Doctor figures, and I think K9 as well, maybe. So there was merchandise being produced that would keep the TV program current, basically. But the annuals was a very, very big thing, released towards the end of the previous year. So this one was released in late 1977 for the upcoming 1978 year. They were usually released around about September, October, November time. So they were in time for the Christmas rush. And like I say, everybody who was anybody had annuals in their Christmas sacks on Christmas morning. Okay, let's move forward to 2025. So we're moving forward 47 years. Do these annuals come up for sale very often on the platforms? I hear you ask. Well, yeah, I mean, the annuals do pop up from time to time now. I mean, not as regularly as they used to. I mean, you do see a lot more of the new Doctor Who annuals. So really from the 2005 relaunch of the series, which is obviously it's been back on here now for another 20 years. So, but those annuals are the ones that appear more regularly on the platforms now. You do see the older annuals appear, the classic, what we call the classic annuals. Not as often as they used to, but you can pick them up on the platforms in various different states of condition. And one thing you just need to be careful of, somebody's idea of very good condition could be somebody else's idea of acceptable condition. So there's a big scope there. So you just need to be a little bit careful and make sure you read or have a good look at the pictures of the item you're going to buy, because you could be disappointed otherwise. And not to mention, some of the platforms also use stock photographs and stock images. So again, be careful, because you're probably not going to find a new annual like we have here. But you might be viewing the details of a new annual. So you do need to click the used link and have a read of the item that you will receive should you order. And don't expect to receive the one that's on the stock image or the stock description. And as I say, just be a bit vigilant if you are going to buy on a platform. However, finding one in this condition on the platform is probably going to be impossible. As I said, this is unsold stock, unopened stock, unread stock. I don't think it had ever been opened until we opened it to photograph it and shoot the video for. Other than that, in its whole entire life, it had never been read or opened, I don't think. But this particular annual, as of today, in its mint condition, I'd say, or very, very near mint condition. I can't see any flaws or any damage or any wear or any markings with it. It is practically mint. And as of now, it is available to purchase on the Most Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Doctor Who annuals, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I'm absolutely positive that this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you are looking for, something old that you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long lost childhood memories. Well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know, the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful, wonderful vintage Doctor Who annual with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.